so starting off here, basically, like Matt had said previously, it was about a year or so ago, the president, SVB, so again, leadership buy-in, really wanted to look at what happens on an impact of a tank. We know not all damages are created equal. You can go out there and have a scratch, and that's a damage. You can go out there and have gas blowing, critical facilities down, EMS there. It's also just a damage. So we want to be able to do what we could to differentiate those two and do some action items with that. That right there. So looking at that, we use the CAN model, and we have something. I'm going to go through an example of kind of how we're using the existing North American model. But we want to do, how can we do it better? What can we do to increase that number to get even a better result? And in doing so, we started getting some really good results. So one of it, with that, we were already seeing about a 2.9% better rate with the insights. And a high cost, about 2.6 better with this new one. Now, we weren't focusing on cost as in the sheer value of it, but more of a value to deem what was a high incident, impact incident or not. So it wasn't an exercise in saving cost, it was using that cost as a driver to kind of really focus our impact model. So what's the problem? We've heard this a lot. We have a lot of locate tickets, a little over 2 million for both gas and electric. We have, again, limited resources. We have a pretty good damage prevention team, but again, we can't do everything. We can't go out there to every single 2 million tickets. And again, we understand the difference between, we know there's a difference between damages. Not all damages, again, are created equal. So what do we want to do? We wanted to get this new model up and going. So we saw great results with the initial model, and we wanted to take it a step further. So how can we do that? And we got some great insights there on basically, again, using that cost as a driver, and then safety was what basically our main focus. How can we create a safer environment with that? So as a result, we can see some of the numbers are coming in that they just out, 259% increase in high cost repair identification and 286 increase in safety hazard identification. So that translates into real world actionable items that we can now start creating automations for to continue on to create that more safer environment. So this was one of the, like I say, we use this model, and the model is only one part of the equation. So we saw, what, 95% of AI processes fail. This is a 5% that actually works, and it works very well. So I'll start with the punchline. What we're able to do is to send out thousands of very targeted email response to high impact tickets. So every day we're able to see the tickets come in, run through the model, figure it out if it's an excavator or if it's a homeowner, and then generate through work automation, through automations, and through templates, we're able to send these emails out to all these different folks. So we're doing it in one footprint right now in Virginia, and we're seeing such great results. We're getting executive leadership buy-in that we're probably going to eventually expand that out to more of our footprint. And again, I think we saw that cycle before there. We didn't just turn it on and let it go. We go back, part of my team here in town, we look at to make sure that what the numbers we're seeing is what we need to do so that impact model changes at all. We adjust our actions. So at all times, we're always doing the best that we can with that model. So, and that, again, to be successful, we always have to go back. That loop we saw earlier this morning, keep going through that iteration, get the buy-in, and keep it going. But again, we're evolving. So that's why we brought the team in. We want to take that model we have, make it better. So at NiSource, we love data, and we saw one of the big things for an AI model to work well is, anybody? Data. So we had over 10 years of data for our damages. So, and we have every little bit of information that we possibly could, and we learned more than what we could add to it to make it better. So we're able to supply 10 years of data to their model that they can go back and start training on and have a very specific, bespoke model that we can start utilizing. In the process, we also learned, again, we can add more to it, so we can collect other data items to make that model even better. So again, an iterative process. It's not just a turn it on and let it run. It's a turn it on, look at it again, and see where we can do things better.
Yeah, so thank you, Jason.
Yeah, so now he's gonna get into the, like, how the sausage is made here. So he's gonna go very technical and start going into the numbers.
Just a little bit. I do want to just commend you and your team at NiSource for having actually really great data. And we talked a little bit earlier about doing things consistently, tracking what is happening in the real world within the product. And you can see here, going back almost 10 years, they have incident data, and not just incident data, you know, when they occurred, but also the consequence of each incident. And they, you'll see in this next slide how consistent it was. So here, we broke it up into two areas. One is the financial aspect of it, and then much more importantly, the safety aspect of it. But we saw that there were, they had logged their impact data, the financial impact data so well, and you see here a very, what I would, as a data practitioner, call a gorgeous distribution curve here of the facility repair and restoration costs. And so you see here that there's quite a bit of restoration costs that's, you know, 4,000 or lower, but then you have a tail that goes out and goes even beyond what we can see here to the right. Thank you. Way beyond. So what we did was we broke this up into two categories, right? So we could do a binary classification model. We basically said, hey, anything that's above $9,000 or more is a high impact facility repair. And you can see here that about 5% of those incidents were high cost. We call that imbalance. So there's 5% that we're trying to identify, and then the other 95%, you know, not that we don't care about it, but it's not as important. The average facility repair cost was a little over $2,500. The maximum was almost $500,000. And so those are the ones that we were really interested in from a financial perspective. And our hypothesis here, again, in our experimentation, in our spikes, we tested the hypothesis. Can we predict high cost incidents before they occur? And we found that we could. And some of the results that we have here is we see 50% of high cost incidents occur in the top 5% of locate requests. That represents 9% of your total financial exposure, or $3.6 million in the case of NiSource. We go even higher. We can identify 42% of high cost incidents in the top 20% of locate requests. So over a quarter of your total financial exposure, almost 30%, in about a fifth of your locate requests. That represents a very significant financial figure, almost $17 million. Now, that's the financial aspect. Let's talk about something much more important, safety. We had, again, a little over 15,000 incidents over this 9.5-year period, all the way through the first half of this year. And we found that 2.2% of incidents involved one or more of the following: evacuations, third-party property damage, or injury or even death. And so we had a similar hypothesis. Can we predict these with some level of effectiveness before they occur? We had never done this before. This was something that was completely new to us in predicting these kinds of critical safety events. And again, the reason we could do it here is because of the fantastic data that NiSource had over a significant period of time. Another anomaly detection problem. We're looking looking to identify a very small amount of stuff within a very large amount of stuff. And here's what we found there. We can predict almost half of these critical safety events in the top 20% of your tickets. Now, you know, it's tough to understate the importance of this, being that it ties directly to, you know, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, right? And you can't really quantify it in terms of dollars. And so if we can predict and prevent just one of these things, then I would call this extremely valuable. And I think we can. And so, once again, keys for success in this case were consistent data collection, accurate data collection, R&D and experimentation, the notion of this spike, and then also an effective intervention strategy. Yeah, and so Jason talked a little bit about how their current intervention strategy is right now, or mitigation strategy. But the next step.
Yes. So next step is taking it to the next evolution here. So we already have that existing like proof of concept that we found a way to use that model effectively, and that's the key. You can't just have this number. The number is just a number. Unless you do some type of trigger, some type of action, some type of validation with that number, it's not going to do any good. It's great that we can validate all that and we can have that number. Now we have to build some actions on that. So. We're going to have that model, we're going to implement that, change now we have smart scores that we utilize, so we're going to change it to adapt to that new model. Create that new automation, and right now we're triggering with emails to be most effective. We also do just daily look at those, and we have boots on the ground to do some type of risk mitigation, go out there and handle all your high risk and high impact tickets. So to make sure that the risk is covered and the impact is covered at the same time. And then we're exploring. You have to be experimental, you have to try new things. I think I mentioned like it'd be great if we could text any of the high impacts. So instead of sending an email, maybe we can send an automated text saying, hey, you just called in this ticket, hello homeowner. You may have never dug a fence before, but what you call it, if something were to get hit right here, it could be an extremely high impact, it could be very dangerous. Here's our number at the utility at NiSource. We'll come out there, we'll help you out. Stuff like that. So we keep trying these different type of activities. But that's the key. It's utilizing this AI as your baseline to use it as a model, and then start building out these processes and finding ways to mitigate risk as much as possible. Again, it's not just a machine you turn on, you leave it go, you walk away. You have to come back, constantly look at it and see if you need to refine it, change it, dial it up, dial it down. So we've done it a few times already, and definitely something that's working.
As I said, the takeaway is, again, Earth Insights enables organizations to reduce damages, improve safety, and increase efficiency. And with that, we have some time for Q&A.
You want me to just yell it out? I can just yell it out if you want. So you mentioned that for the kind of like boots on the ground, getting out there, for your high impact, what was it? High impact, high likelihood. Are they doing anything within the Earth software to kind of like take credit for what they're doing out there?
We sure are. We have work items for each and every one of those. So basically, we have filters and screens set up for all of our DPSs, our damage prevention specialists. So their job is to work the highest risk and then the highest impact. So every day they sort those all out, and then they will do tasks and work items for all those. So we have full reportability, so we're able to go see, and we have different fields that they filled out, and make sure we pull all that information in, kind of what they're doing, but be able to track all that and be able to report out. So we have Power BI reporting then at the end. I know some of our commissions like to see how many times we've done this, so we have full reporting on all these different type of initiatives that we have.
So the reporting capabilities right in Earth then?
Right in Earth, right in the Power BI that they have implemented on there. We already have dashboards designed get more guidance in.
Awesome, thank you.
Anybody else? Other questions?
Thank you.
It's after lunch.
I'll say one more thing before you hop off. I know Jason kind of mentioned it, but I just want to make sure to explicitly say it. They were using our standard shared North American impact model immediately to get success, to get immediate insights, immediate success, and they could also start experimenting a little bit with their mitigation strategy. During that time, is when we took their specific data, trained a bespoke model, and now it's just a level up, right? So they're getting much better results as a result of that. Cool. Thank you.